Other interesting political news, you have California car dealerships trying to sue to block EV Scout direct-to-consumer sales model. Because, of course they are. Now, this comes to us thanks to Brian Hurd, who's a writer at The Drive, which he says, quote, dealers move to block Scout's unlawful, quote unquote, unlawful direct sales plan that cuts him out entirely. Oh no, the car dealerships. I'm sure we'll all be heartbroken if the car dealerships, yeah, I mean, if they can't make money. Now they say, quote, Scout has been issued a cease and desist letter from California's dealerships ordering the company to stop taking deposits for EVs. Yeah. Now, I would argue they should stop doing deposits because it looks so viscerally disgusting from a visual perspective. The SUV looks like trash. It's an EV. But again, that's just my personal preference. Now, going to the actual article, they say, quote, the California new, wow, this is hilarious. Everyone has to have an acronym. You sound fancy, I suppose. The California New Car Dealers Association, the CNCDA, has fired an opening round in its broader legal assault on Scout Motors over the new Volkswagen subsidiaries plan to adopt Tesla's direct sales strategy for its forthcoming Traveler SUV and Terra pickup. Representatives for the California dealerships sent a formal cease and desist letter to Scout demanding the company stop taking deposits on both its planned vehicles, citing an amended California law that makes it illegal for automakers to compete directly with their existing dealership franchises. Now, a lot of people wonder, why do we have to buy a car from dealerships? Well, it's because lobbying, and most states, one of the single largest revenue generators for the states is the sales tax associated with the sale of new and used cars. It is one of the biggest ways states pretty much get most of their budget these days. It's a huge thing. And I suspect eventually, once the states realize, well, as long as the manufacturer, the money doesn't go to the manufacturer headquarters to where, it'd be taxed, the sales tax would stay within the state. I suspect there'll be less dealership laws in the future. Now, how long could they keep the lobbying up and keep the politicians happy? That's the real 800-pound elephant in the room. Now, they say, quote, the key word is existing. This is the exemption by which Tesla was allowed to sell vehicles directly to consumers in California. It had no established franchisees with its direct sales model could possibly compete with. But while Scout Motors may pitch itself as an independent startup, CNCDA pointed out to the conspicuously large figure lurking behind the curtain, Volkswagen. There you can see the electric SUV and truck. Now, what is this? Oh, one gentleman says, quote, under vehicle code section 11713, automobile manufacturers and their affiliates are forbidden from competing with their own vehicle franchisees. Because again, that's a separate business entity. They don't own it. Which is also why they get away with charging you above MSRP or whatever they want. And you can complain to, General Motors or Volkswagen. They're not going to care because the dealerships, they're separately run, separately operated. Now, like you just saying, quote, Scout is an affiliate of VW. Under California law, Vehicle Code Section 113.3 defines affiliate as a person or who directly or indirectly through one or more intermediaries is controlled by or is under common control with another person. Since as early as 2002, VW has been directly and substantially involved in Scout development and revitalization of products, including VW's investment of billions of dollars into Scout production plant in South Carolina. Put simply, CNDA's argument is that Scout is a VW Group brand like any other, no matter how the company chooses to spin it. As such, it's subject to the same rules as anybody else. If you want to sell cars in California, you can't run around the dealerships. Which, yeah, but there's no Scout dealerships yet. There's Volkswagen dealerships for about maybe 2 more years till they go away completely. Not because, not because they want to sell Volkswagen direct, because no one buys Volkswagen anymore. They buy, Lamborghinis and Porsches, which are part of the Volkswagen portfolio, but yeah, the VW logo, not a lot of people buying those vehicles or cars with that on their hood. There you can see the interior of one of those little Scouts. They say we reached out to Scott for kind of a situation, but we're going to, on a limb, say the lawyers are probably saw this coming. They'll give us updates soon. Now, no consumer's going to be happy about this because, again, dealers increase cost to you. That's how they make money. And they're not known for being the most respected industry. I can't but think they're just on par with, like, Big Pharma. There's not a lot of people who respect car dealerships. Everyone has a story about how they've ripped you off, how they've robbed you, how they destroyed or hurt or damaged your vehicle when they're being worked on, or joyriding it. And I've met, like, 2 good dealerships throughout the years. Again, there are some. You got to search for it. You got to find a good tech that you trust. It's rare, but you find them. Now, going to the comments, one of the first ones comes from Adil Pickleson saying, quote, just another example of dealers benevolently protecting consumers again. Where would we be without them? Getting 18 upvotes, which, yep, that was the idea. And again, we've had dealerships since the dawn of the automobile. I mean, the very first Ford vehicles, Ford didn't sell himself. He sold through the dealerships. And there's benefits in terms of Ford doesn't have to pay them anything. They just sell them in inventory. You can sell your vehicles a lot quicker in terms of, let's say, well, this is obviously they have more than this, but instead of Ford selling to 1,000 individual end users, Ford could sell to 10 dealerships to sell the vehicles for them. And that way it's logistically a little bit simpler, but obviously there's trade-offs. So we've had dealers since the inception. And again, when they were lobbying, Congress and, the dealerships, they would argue that, well, we need multiple dealerships out there so you can compete with each other's business. And theory is you get, because the dealerships compete with each other, you get a lower price, which does happen. When I was trying to buy my Honda Civic Si, which I love to this day, because of the stick shift like all cars should have, the dealership I was talking to negotiated a little bit, but I mean, they're giving me like a couple $100 off list price, which is BS. So guess what I did? I called a Honda dealership about 35 miles out. They had the same green Honda Civic color, same specs and everything. And I said, hey, this weekend I want to get this. What's the best you do for me? Once you get that number, went back to the original dealership's head, said, hey, sales rep, I like you. I know sales reps, managers, I know the manager technically has to approve pricing, yada yada. I'm like, here's the situation. I'm gonna drive 40 miles and get the same car for this price unless you matches. And lo and behold, I got the car for the match price. Because again, competition. So I understand that theory. However, more often than in many other cases, they're not really fighting for your behalf, or it's not really a win-win to a lot of people. That's why there's so much visceral disdain for dealerships and that operation, that structure that we have in the United States. Now, Captain Sonic says, quote, without dealers, who will issue the upcharge for undercarriage spray and weather mats that should already be included in the vehicle? Getting 19 likes, which, yeah, it was funny. When I was a kid, I thought the undercoating was like a joke on TV. I didn't think it was real until I moved to Iowa, and they go, oh yeah, we got about 10 pounds of salt on the road every year. The undercoating is a real thing. Sometimes it does. If you have salt in your state, it makes sense to do it. But yeah, the profit margins on those things are just stupid. Which is why I always tell people, if you want to do it, just go online and buy a can of that material and spray it on your car yourself. Now, Otapi says, quote, I think most of us agree the worst part of buying a car is the dealer. If I could buy directly from the factory and skip all the garbage, I certainly would, getting 12 likes. Hartman says dealers want their cut, and it's just a little gif of a shark opening its mouth. Keith Klob says, quote, dealers have become their own worst enemy, screwing over the consumer at every chance, overcharging for everything, getting kickbacks and holdbacks from the manufacturers, finance companies, and additional markups. I think manufacturers are also fed up with hearing the complaints from the buyer getting 4 likes. Yeah, that's another issue too. Sometimes the parts are marked up comically, because again, they get margin, they make money every which way when you go there. I mean, remember my brake rotors, because I take my car to the track, my brake rotors, I got them for like 40% of the cost of what the dealership would have charged me just by buying them online. And I understand you got to charge for labor. I own a small business. I know you charge for labor. I know you make a little bit of money off of parts. But if I can get parts 40% cheaper, that's to me, that's excessive. Let's just say I found a different mechanism to facilitate those needs. But yeah, we'll see how this plays out in court. I suspect, because again, I think VW is going to say, well, there's no Scout dealers. This is a separate legal entity. I mean, this isn't a Volkswagen brand. This is not going to be planned at a Volkswagen dealership. It's a whole new thing. So we'll see how it plays out in court. California is famously anti-business. I suspect California will probably screw over VW, which, I mean, that company's already hurting as is. But let me know, what do you think the future is? Do you think you'll be able to actually buy Scout direct? Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you can click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.